Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the podcast here. Today we have Sheila Johnson, who is a model, blogger, photographer, and creative person who does everything from wardrobe styling to extreme couponing, really helping people just get that message out there and really represent things from a different point of view. So we're going to dive in and see how she balances all this and then build her brand, because ultimately when we look at it, people want to build a business and we have to leverage her strengths. We're going to learn how she does this. So Sheila, welcome.
Hi.
So how did you get into all this?
Naturally, I've been overall a creative person since I was like a kid. So naturally, when I was in high school and junior high, I was in theater plays. I took up piano, I took up violin, and I took up like all these different creative ventures. So I was always a creative person. I think it has something to possibly do with the fact that I'm a Pisces and we tend to be really creative, sign. I tend to be a creative sign. So that might have something to do with it. But overall, I just dibbled and dabbed into like different things and just grew an interest in all these creative aspects. And then I turned 18. I did a photo shoot when I turned 18 for modeling, and I never thought about even thinking about getting into modeling or whatever. I was just kind of focusing on acting and was a theater major in high school or whatever. So I just focused on that, and somebody was like, no, you should do modeling. You should do modeling. And I was like, well, I don't know if I really want to, because I was always made fun of. So I don't know if I really want to model. And I went to an open call for Ford's models, and they were like, you're pretty, but that's not what we're looking for. So obviously as a teenager, that's going to like hurt someone's ego and confidence a little. But I did a photo shoot during the summer before I went away to school at Russell Sage College. And from doing that one photo shoot, it just stemmed me from and catapulted me to like do other creative things. And I started modeling. I've been modeling for 8 years. Signed to different agencies. I'm currently signed to an agency now called Wonder Models. I plan on getting signed to a talent agency so I can still do my acting and take up really go back into like taking up training for like acting and singing and whatever. And wardrobe styling just came in about the fact that I was tired of trying to search for a wardrobe stylist for my shoots. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to start styling on my own and do it that way. So I would like buy and return clothes for the shoots, and then, and that's how that started. And now I have like my own fashion blog and stuff like that, and magazines are like hitting me up telling me to style. And then extreme couponing came into the fact that I want to save money. So
that's always a good reason.
It's always a good reason. I love saving money, and I'm really good at couponing, like really good at it. Like I'll go to the store and I'll come back with free items, basically.
We'll definitely got to talk about that, because I think people really want to know, like, wait, you went to the store and you came back with free stuff, and it wasn't all those little samples of things you don't want. So we're definitely going to dive into that. But
yeah. And photography, that's just something, photography and then like photoshopping and stuff like that. That's just something like, if you're a model, like I feel like as a model, you know what the angles, because you're a model, you know the angles to look for. So when you're transition to photography, it's like just easy for you to like do the photography thing from like a different standpoint. And because I'm a girl, it's completely different, because my perspective is completely different from a man's perspective on pictures, and how I see things is completely different.
Right. Definitely, because all those things, they really play a role in how you position yourself.
Yeah, and they definitely play a role.
And how you sell what your brand, your offerings are, because no matter what we do, I think people sometimes forget about it, that we have to put our best foot forward.
Yeah. They do. I think they
As
people do forget, and even like the photographers I met yesterday at a group shoot, they were like trying to pick my brain, and they were like, "So what do you do?" And I was like, "Well, I don't like to tell everybody what I do like offhand. I like
Mhm.
to kind of keep like the mystery so that it makes people like want to know more about me, which is why like even on my Instagram, I have it where it's set up where it says Sheila J. and then it's a Renaissance woman. And then
Okay.
people are like, "Oh, wait, what do you do?" And then they like go to my website and they see all that I do, and they're like, "Oh, wow." And they go to my blog and they read more about me on my blog and stuff like that. So they're intrigued about all of the different things that I do, and they're fascinated, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe she does all of this." So
It when you create that fascination, that mystery, it works wonders because people that are naturally curious and they want to discover like, well, what else is there? It's we want to go beyond just the oh, there's just that one thing you do. Okay, next versus oh, there's more. We always want
yeah,
more.
and nowadays I feel like you can't just do one thing; you have to do multiple things. Like there's just it's just not possible for you to just do one thing nowadays.
Right.
So,
Well, it's I think it stems more from the fact that by diversifying what we have going on, we insulate ourselves from something happening. Because you think about if people only have that one thing that's taking place in their life, but let's say that they're working for XYZ company and they
mhm.
have a cutback. Well, now you have nothing. Versus if you have several things going on at once and they're all doing very well, if one of them slows down, does it really hurt? No,
No,
not really.
not really.
It slows you down a little bit, so you have to make it up elsewhere, but you can quickly adjust. Versus,
Exactly.
oh no, now there's nothing. Well, you have to do a lot very quickly then. So it
Yeah,
makes a
you
huge
definitely have
difference
to do a
that way.
lot more. Yeah, it
Right.
makes a huge difference. Plus, life, if you the more you do, the more that life is not boring. Because I feel like if you
Right.
just do one thing, life becomes very boring.
Well, and it's so true because you think about how many people they've just done one thing for so long, and you look at their faces like the passion is just evaporated because they have all these creative things, but they've never taken the opportunity to explore them.
Yeah, I agree. They never really take the time, and then when they usually take the time when they become older, and there's not much time for them to actually do what they necessarily need to do or want to
Right.
do rather. And they wait till they retire,
Right.
and that's not fun.
Right. Well, no, and there's no reason to do that. I've met so many people over the years where they've worked hard their whole lives to be able to do things like, say, paying for their children's college education and all these other expenses. They say, we have everything's paid off. We can now just build and enjoy retirement. But
Hmm.
when it comes down to asking, well, what did they do? Well, nothing. They just saved their whole lives. They didn't do anything exciting. Well, that's not living.
No, that's not living.
That's existing. There's a difference between existing and living.
Basically,
But you think
there's a
about
huge difference.
right, but you think about how many people have not really done that because you look at the stuff that you've accomplished so far. They're all different interests,
Hmm.
and that makes a huge difference in the world.
That does make a huge difference. Like, and I just like enjoy helping. I really enjoy helping people, and the fact that all of the things that I do, even though they're all creative things, and even though they're like some of them don't even interlink with each other or whatnot, it's still something, and still I still have a passion for it. I still enjoy doing it, and I know that the end result is me helping someone else be able to do everything that they want to do in their life.
Right,
So
exactly. But you just have to do that. It makes so much logical sense as part of that process. So you had mentioned in terms with modeling, and you've been doing it now for 8 years and such. What are some of those things that when you think about what you've learned from it that people in general can take from it and implement in their lives because they just might be thinking, well, we're just modeling, but there's more to it.
there is a lot more to modeling than people actually think that there is. Um, it's a confidence. like you have to have confidence. And sometimes that people are like, well, how do you like? Because when I'm in person, the person that you see in front of, like, that's not on camera is doesn't. I don't even look like any of my photos. Like I do, but
Yeah.
like people have to like. I look like so many different people in my photos. That's hard to like tell, and like people. So people tend to call me a chameleon, and you're like, how do you do this? And I'm just like, it's a mindset thing. Um, for
Hmm.
the most part, and a confidence thing. You have to have a lot of confidence when it comes to modeling, and sometimes models will come into modeling and they're like, they don't really have that confidence, and it shows in their photos. But like, I know when I get in front of that camera, I have to snap my fingers and I have to go into like another world because this is why I'm being booked. Like, this is why
Right.
people want to hire me because they love my look. They And overall, that's what people are hiring you for. They're hiring you for your look. But then when people get to know me, they see that there's more to me than just a look. They see the personality. And that's why sometimes I love being signed to agencies, but I still like to be able to do my own thing
Hmm.
because a lot of the agencies I've had in the past, they try to change who I was, and I don't like being changed. I enjoy being a free spirit, and I like to know that I can still do my own thing, but still, get hired for a job, even though that's what they want. But I can still go out and venture and do my own thing, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. You want to have that creativity so you're not locked down. But I
Yeah.
think it's, when you talk about confidence, it's so important because if you just look at people's pictures, their videos, it doesn't really matter what type of medium it is. You can tell the people who are confident about what they're doing in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I think you can totally tell who's confident about what they're doing from their pictures or from their videos or from what they're saying. Even though I'm nervous, like right now, because this is my first podcast, even though I'm nervous, I'm still, because I'm talking about stuff that I enjoy and I'm passionate about, it's not being, I don't think it's showing as much in my voice
Right.
what it would normally do if I'm like, I wasn't passionate about something and I don't know what I'm talking about, if that makes like, so I guess it factors out. Like, you have to be confident and passionate about what it is that you're doing. Otherwise, you're not going to be enthusiastic and you're not going to be able to communicate to somebody else what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're trying to do.
Oh yes, it's something that we have to have because if you think of someone's wanting to sell themselves, it doesn't matter what type of thing that they're trying to do. If they're selling a service, a product, or like in your case that you're selling something because for the modeling gig itself, that
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have that confidence when they look at you, they think no, or they listen to you, think no. They that instinct just tells someone no, move on. But when you have confidence, people want to stick around and think, I really like this person.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how it is. I went to a casting last week and they looked at my book and they're like, and it was the first time anybody looked at my book since I've been in California and gone to castings. I normally go to castings and it's usually like they have me on a video because it's like auditions and it's for commercials and stuff like that. So it's not even them looking at my book. They just want to see you on camera and that's it. Like, you slate your name, you say what you're doing, and all this extra stuff. But the person actually took the time to actually look at my book and was like, "You have a really amazing book." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And they're like, "Yeah, you look like a different person." And the fact that they seen my book and then they seen the personality, they were able to put two and two together and whatnot. So that was really, really helpful. But when
Oh
I go
yeah.
to like an audition and I'm on video, like I do good, but then they don't see the overall the transition because there's a bunch of people going to these auditions, and since there's a bunch of people, they're like, you know, it, they can find what they're looking for from the first person that walked in the casting. So
Right.
it really just depends.
And I think that's something that people can really learn something from because it's that persistency. Because you think about the number of of opportunities that you actually got where they hired you for it, but were there probably a lot more that you didn't get?
I mean, yeah, there might have been a lot more that I did, jobs that I didn't get, but then all those jobs that I didn't get are getting me one step closer to getting the jobs that are for me.
Right. I think that's something that's important because so many times in people they're starting off to their own business or they're wanting to work towards something. We get in this notion that everything we do it's going to be a winner, but sometimes like well no, it's when you're competing, sometimes you're going to win and sometimes you're not. But
Hmm.
it's to keep on going that because it's just part of it. Like we're not getting a participation trophy. It's just like you're going to win some of the time and sometimes you're not, but you keep going
Exactly.
because of the wins.
You have to keep going for the wins. You can't just stop because you got a no. You have to keep going. And that's one of
Right,
the things that I've learned is that you have to keep going. You're gonna hear a lot of no, I've heard a lot of no's in the process, but I've kept going.
right, exactly. Because no's are part of it. If you're not hearing enough no's, then you're not putting yourself out there enough.
Exactly.
But you think
But
about how many people are like, but I don't get no's. All I get are yeses. But you talk to two people, so how's that making a difference? When
that,
if someone started talking to 100 and then they got two no's, or like let's say they had 75 no's, well, that's about normal. Then you're going to get that.
yeah, you're gonna get all those no's, but it's also, even though you're gonna get the no's, you're gonna get a yes eventually. It's just
Right.
how bad, the question is how bad do you want it?
Right. Exactly. That's what people have to understand. If you want it bad enough, you're going to keep going regardless.
Yeah,
So you
basically.
have to keep that going. So obviously it evolved from modeling into photography. What do you think are some of those things that people should keep in mind? Because you know, we with social media, when you look at Facebook and Instagram and so forth, that people should be looking at when they're going to take their own picture or they're going to have someone take it for them, so they put their best foot forward because that might be someone's only interaction with them and they're making the decision like do I like this person or not.
I think it's just a matter of with social media and stuff like that because I have three different Instagram accounts, and each of them have its own set of followers, but two of the pages are interlinked with each other, so that no matter what, it's my page. Like,
Right.
so that both of them are my pages, so they know like, okay, well, one page is for this specific reason, and then this page is for that specific reason. So when push comes to shove, you're following a person because you like them and you like their likeness, um and you want to see more about them and understand them. So like I think that with social media and modeling and photography, it's all helpful and it's all interlinked with each other. And one of the things that I can't stand is that people are like, oh, but you're a model, you don't know anything about being an entrepreneur, or you don't know anything about being a business woman or anything like that. And I'm like, but in modeling, you need to know business. You need to know marketing. If you don't know this, you are not going to be a very successful model.
Right. I think people where they get confused is they think of that traditional business owner, that entrepreneur. The most people, the product they have, it's something that's physical, it's tangible, or it's some type of information. Not realizing that you are your product, you are your brand, and if you don't
Yeah,
represent yourself the right way, well, you're going to be kind of hungry.
yeah, and that's exactly why I try to represent myself in a different way compared to how everybody else represents themselves, because I know that if I stand out, then it makes me look good compared to if I do what everybody else is doing. If I try to do what everybody else is doing, then it's not going to be right for me and it's not going to be genuine and authentic, versus if I'm doing how I see fit and how I view things, it'll get people like, oh, wait, what is she doing? Okay, well, maybe I should hire her, like, and all this like all these different things, and it helps me to become a better person. And because
Right.
I read and I'm constantly reading like the different marketing books, and I follow like Kimora Luna and Rachel Luna and like Gary Vee and Nicole Walters, I take a little, even though I don't have the same business as they do, I take a little bit of what they're teaching and I implement some of the what they teach and I implement it in what I'm doing.
Right. Well, that's the key to anything. It's to look for what's working and then ask yourself a simple question. How can you adapt it to your business? Because everybody's business is different. If you try to do
Hmm.
things exactly the way someone else does, it's not going to work because that's them. So you have to tailor it just the right way so it fits you, your voice, your message.
Yeah. And my message is 100% wanting to inspire. Like, it still goes back to the fact that I want to inspire people. Like, 100%. Like, I really want to inspire people. I want people to be able to do all of the creative things that they want to do and eventually be Renaissance, have more Renaissance women and men around. Like, I think there needs to be more of us because I don't think enough of us take the time to be like, hey, I do this and I do that, and like I'm a model and I'm an actor or I'm a singer and businesswoman, like, or a businessman or whatever. I don't think enough of us say that they do 10 different things. And you don't
Right.
hear that. The last time you heard of a Renaissance person, I'm not going to say Renaissance man or woman, I'm going to say person, because last time you heard of something like that is like what, Leonardo da Vinci or like way back when. So,
Right.
like when people
Well, if you
hear,
think of, oh, go ahead.
no, so when people hear like the term Renaissance woman, they're like, wait, what? I'm confused. Like they get really confused. And I think they have a different definition of how it's supposed to look like.
Oh, yes. Because if you think about how societies evolved, there was a time, if you just turn back the clock, that people did multiple things. It wasn't that a person did one thing. That was a result of the industrialization of society, that a person did one job. Because if you were to look at history books and you think about small towns out there, you might have had someone that was the, let's say they ran the let's see the local the town store, but they also happen to be the plumber and something else. That people had multiple
Hmm.
roles because that's the only way that things were successful. You that if someone was to do only one thing, well, they would go pretty hungry very fast. So they
They,
all did things. So
yeah.
things evolved.
And now people are like, no, you need to do one thing. You need to niche down. You need to do this and like niche and niche. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Does it really need to be like that? Because we once were able to do multiple things, and now it's all of a sudden a problem.
Right. Where I look at it is, if you're doing multiple things, you look at how does how do you become the best at that one thing inside of it? So you have these different silos. So if you look at what you're doing, you have the modeling. Can you become the best at that in terms of photography? How do you become the best at that? The couponing and so on. So you have that
You
multiple things,
study.
but yeah, you're focused in it. So it's not like you just do this one thing, like you're a one trick pony, like this is it, versus you know how all these things work and you can help
Yeah.
people in multiple ways. So then your life is more fulfilled each and every day versus, okay, did my one thing, time to just go sit here and play like whatever game on my phone for the rest of the day. But you
No,
look at how many
that's
people do that.
harmful. Yeah, exactly. And it's
Life
not
is too
very
short.
entertaining.
Right. You have to do things that stimulate the mind and stimulate the body in so many ways so you can achieve the things that you're looking for.
Exactly. That's exactly. That's exactly
Right.
how it's supposed to be.
Right. So, what are some of the things that you're doing to stand out on Instagram? Because so many people, they're always wondering, oh, how come some people they have these large followers, and others are like, well, my mom follows me, so people want to know, like, well, how do you do this?
Um, well, to stand out on Instagram, I put quality over quantity. So I put the quality out there versus having a ton of content. I make sure that if I'm posting, it has a meaning, it has a purpose. That's why I'm posting it. Um, I try to write really thoughtful captions in my captions. Um,
Okay.
Sometimes I put humor in there, like I'll put a humorous caption. Sometimes I won't, but I try to stick with like really writing thoughtful, creative captions and putting quality out there that sets me apart from like other people. And one of my pages, which is like my professional page and whatnot, that page is like I post in threes, so like you get the reason why you should book me. And then my blog's Instagram, that you can see more of who I am and my personality, and you get to know like who I am as a person versus just the model and the photographer, which is the
Right.
more professional page. So I like literally I try to stand out by like setting like a tone and like being creative, but at the same time and putting out the quality out there, putting my personality in the forefront so that people know that it's actual a real person behind the Instagram and not just some fake person. Because I get a lot of messages sometimes and they're like, are you real? Are you a fake person? And I'm like, "No, I'm real." Like even on Facebook, I get that all the time. I get like people messaging me. They're like, "Are you real?" Yes. Why wouldn't I be real?
Right. I think sometimes people they get that notion like no way you can't be real because there if you think about the number of fake accounts and things that people fabricate to drive traffic,
Hmm.
it looks something like this is too good to be true. There's just no way.
Yeah,
Like you're a unicorn and like no, it's actually you.
yeah, it's actually me. Like I think that's what people think, and they have this misconception. Or like, there's no way that you can be like, there's no way that you can be a pretty person and do all of the things that you do. Like, how is that? How is that even fair? Like, that's just like a stereotype. I think they get
Right.
like confused and they're like, wait, you're a model. Models are dumb. Like that stereotype.
Right. It's I think people they get that because th- they see well, they've had one interaction with someone and that person might not have been the brightest card in the deck, but
Yeah.
that was their entire impression, not realizing that's one person. That it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what field you're in, you'll meet that one person you wonder how in the world are they surviving? And but
Basically,
that's how it is. You have the people that are at the top of the pile in one industry, but then it balances out with that person who's just getting by. If you think about people who are acting, you have people that they don't have to hunt down roles; things come to them, and then you have the person that's working, three or four jobs to make ends meet while they pursue their acting career. So you have everything,
yeah. That
but
that's definitely something that I mean, I know both ends of the spectrum, so it's not I know both ends of the spectrum, so it's not like I don't understand it from this like both point of views because I do. And then I have, I surround myself with friends that are actually like doing something.
mhm.
Like my best friend, one of my greatest friends, Lily, she's a model. Um, she's modeled in Italy, she's modeled in Paris, Germany, London. She's just got signed to Maryland, Maryland Models, which is an
Mhm.
agency in New York, and she's only 27. Like she's 27 and she got signed, and there's a cutoff, like to the time period you're supposed to get signed. And the fact that she got signed to it, that's like a miracle and all in itself. Because at 27 you can't be signed. So
Really?
they say you can't get signed at 27, but that's a lie. If you look like you're 18 or 16 or younger,
Mhm.
like there should be no reason for why you can't still model at 27.
Right.
Like, if you can look at why stop modeling at 27? Why put an age cap? Because if I can look like I'm 16 and I'm 27 or whatever, or she can look like she's 16 and she's 27, why did that's just ridiculous. Like,
Right.
yeah. And then my other friend Yasha, she's she's in London. She was in London, but she's not anymore. But she was out here and she was going out auditions for like W at the studios like WB and Sony and Pictures, and she was just on the I think she was on the season finale of the Get Down.
Mm-hmm.
So she was doing that. So I have like all these like different people and I see them doing exactly what I want to be doing. And I
Yeah.
know it's not like I don't know it's possible. Like it's possible. You can do all these different things and be
Right.
amazing at it and not just it be a one trick pony. Like it's going to be hard, but you have to have faith that you're going to get through it and you have to have faith that hey, like I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make this money and I'm going to have a goal and I have a goal to accomplish X, Y, and Z and you're going to do it. You just have to have faith and go through the trials and the tribulations to get there.
Right, exactly. You have to know your outcome and be willing to work hard at it because everybody has a different road. That some people,
Hmm.
just by being in the right place at the right time, that doors open for them in that brief
Yeah.
moment. But otherwise, if you think of what you have to do, it's consistently showing up every single day. It's working hard, and eventually that door does open. It's just you have to keep at it because it's not written out in stone of on this particular day it's going to be your lucky break. You don't know when that day is going to be.
No, you don't know when that day is going to be. And that's the thing that people fail to realize is you don't know when that day is going to come. You just have to
Right,
keep doing what you need to do so that that day comes. You need to be ready, and everything that you're doing is leading you to that day. Like I
right,
really want to become a millionaire, but do I really want to become a millionaire now and not be prepared for what happens when I become a millionaire? No, I'd rather be prepared to become a millionaire than to
right.
get all that money right now. Because I feel like if I become one now, I would just go and spend the money on anything and not
Right,
exactly um, spend it wisely and save it wisely. Because
right.
even yeah, I worked hard for it, I'm a couponer, but when you give me a ton of money, I might just go and buy expensive things. No, I'd rather be prepared. I'd rather work towards
Right.
so that I value it much more.
Right. It's a growth process because when the more money you have the responsibility. How do you use it properly? But you think about what happens when people win the lottery. Like, yes, I hit it rich. But then the number of people who have won the Powerball and the different lotteries, or, they won millions of dollars. So
Hmm.
many of them end up bankrupt after 5 years.
Yeah, and that's
Be-
not how it should be.
no, because they
It's
didn't have
not
the education to go along with it.
exactly. And life, I feel like
The,
life is your number one education system.
right. Exactly, because the way that you think, the things that you do, the people you surround yourself with will be different at each level. If when you are making, six figures and seven figures, you're going to be wanting to be around a certain group of people to do certain things, which is going to be
Hmm.
different than if you're nowhere near that. And people are just looking at, oh, you could just go buy an expensive car versus, there's some people out there, they have a substantial amount of money, but they don't drive an expensive car because they look at it as it's a car. I drive from here to where I'm going, and that's it. Or people
Hmm.
might even think if they have this, they're automatically going to buy a big house. I know plenty of people that their philosophy is, why do I want a big house? It's me and two other people. So they have that practical feeling where they rather go like, well, we have this one here, but then we have this another one over here and another one over there. So they can go to places when they want, but they're being
Hmm.
smart about it. So it's the education that goes along with it. And I think that's what people have to understand when it comes to money and just growth. It's a process. You just don't wake up one morning and think, I've got it. I took this magic pill and I know everything I need to know now, which would
No,
be great, but it doesn't
awful.
really work that way.
It does not work that way. It is definitely a process, and I'm still learning that it is a process.
Right, definitely. So, as we're talking about money, how did you get into couponing? Because some people think coupons like, oh gosh, this is such a pain, but others they go. And I've seen people where they say, I'm really proud of myself. I got all these free things, or I got like 10 of these for like $2. And I'm looking like, are you really going to even eat some of that stuff? Because I think your arteries will just look at you with that look of, I hate you right now because what they're putting in their bodies. So how do you do it effectively? So you're not just buying, well, crap.
Well, I buy what I need. I don't know. I buy what I need, not what I want um, to buy. And anything that I don't need, I tend to buy in bulk and then I sell it back to people, like on like the apps like Close Five or something like that. But I started couponing because of my college loan. I was trying to figure out a way to make my money last. And at the
Hmm.
same time, tried and realized that, hey, I'm in debt and I wanted a way to quickly save my money and pay off my debt at the same time. So I started couponing. Then couponing came all the apps that the money making apps that I use on my phone. Like I bought a um Checkout 51 and like the apps like that and inbox dollars. So I like and swag bucks. Like so I use like all of these like different apps and they all help me save money and I do the couponing for like the groceries and it helps to make and it really helps. Couponing really, really, really helps. Like I get free things. Yeah, of course I get free things and sometimes, the stores pay me, but at the end of the day, I'm doing it because, hey, one, I enjoy doing it, I have fun doing it, but I'm also saving money in my pocket. So,
So, like, what's some of the things that you'd use coupons for? Because sometimes people think that
makeup.
makeup, okay, well, that's always a good thing to use there because of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, like, what are some of the other things you would use it for?
Well, makeup is one thing I use it for. Hair stuff, hair products, food, um, toilet like paper towels, toilet paper, house essentials, shaving cream, razors, um, books. Like you can get coupons on books. There's times where I go, even in clothing stores, I managed to not spend money. Like I went to Aeropostale once and I literally went in there. I got a scarf. I got a scarf. I got a hat, and I got a pair of gloves, and it was free because I used
Wow.
like the Ibotta app, and the stuff that I got was on sale. So it was basically once I got the cash back, it was basically free.
Wow, that's incredible. So, what app did you use for that?
I used Ibotta.
Okay.
And you can even get coupons off your like plane tickets because I'll use Ebates and I'll get cash back on I've gotten cash back on plane tickets as well.
Cash back on plane tickets off of eBay?
Ebates,
Oh, eBay. Hold on,
ebates.com.
eBay. Wait a minute. Ah, okay.
Yeah. I've gotten cash back on plane tickets off that site and photography equipment off of ebates.com.
Oh, very nice. That's always a great thing when you look at some of the stuff that's out there. I think people don't understand couponing for one simple reason. Like people have grown up or they remember that thing of coupons where someone's sitting around with like a pair of scissors and just cutting out all these things and they're going through the stuff in the mail to make up this big stack of coupons like okay this is what I'm using versus so much is digital now like you don't need to use carry around a stack of coupons anymore.
I mean, granted, I do have the stack of coupons, but I do like most of it can be digitalized. So it's just a matter of
Right.
how you're gonna get to do it and stuff like that.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. It's digital's a great way to do it because you don't have to carry so much around. It just makes logical sense.
Yeah, it
So,
does.
in regards to couponing, what was the best deal that you ever got through the process?
9 things of detergent for 50 cents.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I got
Nine things?
nine Purex detergents for 50 cents. Sales tax. It was basically free.
Oh my gosh, how did you pull that one off? Because that blows my mind. I'm just picturing you walking out of a store with a cart of nine things of Purex.
It was I had a coupon that was buy one get one free or something like that, and they were on sale for like $3.50. And I used my extra bucks, and I had three coupons for the buy one get one free, or four coupons. I don't really remember how many coupons I had, but I had the buy one get one free coupons. I had my extra bucks, and I matched them on top of it. I think at the same time, the store also had a coupon that's a store coupon, so I used all of those, and that's how I got it for free.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. It just goes to show you that if you just take a few moments to think about what what's out there, you can be able to get lots of things for your household and not spend a lot of money or even just pay nothing.
Yeah, I find it extremely difficult for me to I find it extremely difficult for me to go backwards and spend money like a lot of money on items that I know that I get for free or for cheap with coupons.
Right.
It's so hard.
Right. Because you think about it, these things are there, but only a small percentage of people will ever use them.
Yeah, there's not that many of us that do use them. Even though it seems like a huge community of us that do use it, there's not that many of us that do. And in my field, there's definitely not that many people who use it.
Right. But it just makes sense. Why not save some money in what you're doing versus just paying the full price?
Yeah, I'd rather save money in what I'm doing versus anything else. Like even my friend Kia, she's like, "Wait, here you go, always trying to get something for free or maneuver yourself into getting a discount or getting promo for people." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's just how I am. It's a natural habit because I don't feel the need to spend full price on something. I will never spend full price on anything unless it's absolutely worth spending full price on."
Right. And well, there's no reason to spend full price on it if you can get it for a big discount.
Basically. Like that's why I'm like, nope, I won't do that unless there's a reason.
Right. And there has to be a really good reason. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, there has to be a really good reason for me to spend the money on it. If there's not, then I'm just like, nope, I won't do it.
Right. But you look at how many people, that's exactly what happens. They spend the money for no reason because they don't know any different. So, as we begin to wrap everything up, what's one thing that you'd recommend people do in terms of when you look at positioning themselves with confidence or saving money with couponing? What's one thing you recommend that people do?
I recommend the number one thing I recommend is getting clarity. That is the one thing I recommend, and the reason why I say that over anything else is because once you have clarity on the things that you want, nothing else really matters. No one else's opinion actually matters, and that's how you get confidence in what it is that you want to do in life.
Oh, that's excellent because it it makes all the difference. Like one person said this before, and I wish I knew who said it first, was that other people's opinions don't pay the bills.
Yeah, basically.
So
But that's
you have to just go with what feels right to you.
exactly. That's why I have like um one of the things I want to work on, so you're hearing it first, is how to get clarity using a vision board. And I know a lot of people write about vision boards a lot, but nobody writes about how to get clarity on using a vision board. Like I think people
Right.
do, but I don't think they really do it in the effect that I was gonna do it, that I'm gonna do it in. So I'm working on like a workbook for people to get clarity using a vision board. And I feel
Uh,
like that would be super awesome for people because once I created my vision board and I hung it up on my wall and I see it every single day. Because I see it every single day, now I'm like, nope, this is what I want, this is what I want, and nobody else's opinions matters. And one of the quotes that I have on my vision board, it says, um, to emit your own frequencies and forget about everybody else's frequencies. Right? That's a
Oh, that's
summary of
excellent.
what it actually is. I don't really know exactly what. No, actually, I think people need to hear this quote. So I'm gonna actually read it. It says, "Everything changes when you start to emit your own frequency rather than absorbing the frequencies around you. When you start imprinting your intent on the universe rather than receiving an imprint from existence." Which goes back to what we were saying about people are just living, they're just existing rather than living.
Right. Oh, definitely. Who said the quote?
Um, it doesn't say anybody that said the quote, it just has like a little Arabic symbol underneath it.
Ah, okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's an amazing quote because you think about it, it's all about what you put out into the world, not just copying what someone else is doing.
basically, and that's why one of the amazing things about that quote, that's why I firmly stand by that quote, and it's literally in the middle of my vision board, and then everything else that I want is around the vision board. Everything else is around that quote. And there's other quotes on my vision board, but that is like that one quote specifically like stuck out to me. So
Oh,
that was helpful.
excellent. That's awesome.
Like, and
That's
I
so great.
honestly, I wouldn't be here without that quote, and I would not be talking to you if I didn't have the universe and God on my side. Like, because yeah, they're all amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming onto the podcast and sharing your wealth of wisdom on so many different things. How can people learn more about you?
They can learn more about me by going to my website at sheilaj.com. Um, there you'll find my portfolio book, you'll find my blog, and as I grow more, as I grow more and working on the other things that all the other projects, that'll be the main center of where you can find my other projects. And social media is I'm Sheila J all across the board. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and Pinterest and all the extra fun stuff.
Oh, excellent. Well, definitely. Once again, thank you for coming onto the podcast today.
No, thank you for having me. This was fun. And I can't wait to do it again and do it with other people because this was fun. I need to do more podcasts.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.